Remember just the other day, I talked about the story that took place out of Las Vegas where you had one white male jump in to help someone else out, and 15 other black kids jumped on him and took his life. All he was doing was helping. Someone was getting bullied. And Shannon, did we ever find out if the person that was getting bullied, did they ever report the person that was getting bullied if that person was black? Because it would be really interesting if a white male stepping in to help another black male.
Yeah, no, they
And
never
they end
said.
up killing the white male for helping. He ended up dying a hero.
Yeah, they did. Nothing I read said. Not even when the police did their statement, they didn't say either. So
Nothing you can see. Okay, so with that said, let me share this with you. We have an update from this. They've actually made some arrests of 8 of the 15, because it was reported there was 15 of them. But 8 of the 15 have been arrested. Let's play this.
As I mentioned earlier, as a result of our investigation, we were able to identify 8 of those 10 subjects. And based on that investigation, we conducted an apprehension operation this morning with the FBI Criminal Apprehension Team and members of our Major Violence and Narcotics Bureau. During that operation, we were able to arrest all 8 subjects, and we executed 9 search warrants at various residences throughout the Las Vegas Valley. During those search warrants, detectives were able to obtain numerous clothing from the residences that the suspects wore during the attack on Mr. Lewis. All subjects that were arrested in this incident range from the age of 13 to 17. All are juveniles, and all were booked into the Clark County Juvenile Hall on charges of murder. The case will now be turned over to the Clark County District Attorney's Office, who we've been in close coordination with, and we'll go through the normal steps of determining, going through the normal steps for them to be certified as an adult. As the undersheriff mentioned in this investigation, it is far from over. We've identified 8 of the 10 we believe are responsible for the murder, but through our PIO office, we will be pushing out additional pictures of 2 individuals that we have yet to identify that participated in the incident, and with the requesting assistance from the community with identifying them. I also want to secondly ask anybody in the community that if you know anybody who witnessed this, if you see video of this from social media, please don't just believe we have it. There's a high likelihood that there's additional video out there that we don't have. I encourage anyone, if you have that video, to please contact the LVPD homicide section, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that video can be shared through Clark County, through Crime Stoppers in Nevada. That information is very necessary in investigations like this and has helped us greatly in this investigation. As I mentioned,
right there. So if this was the other way around, and this young man here, Jonathan Lewis, had he been a different shade, a different tone, had he been black, and this happened with 15 white kids taking the life of a black male, there would be rioting in the street right now. They would say, this is the type of racism we've been talking about, the injustices against black people. This is what they would be saying. You know that I'm right. You know that I'm right. And you don't hear nothing out of the mainstream government state media. Have y'all seen them report on this? Now, they may have said something about it and then they moved along. Trump, Trump, Trump. TDS kicks in. This is absolutely disgusting. Good for them for arresting them. And I'm telling y'all right now, I can hear the left saying, you're going to give them life? You're going to give these black males life in prison? See, this is what we're talking about. You're always giving black men prison. You're always giving them life in prison. And I can see them also saying that don't give them life in prison. You're going to ruin their lives. I can see them actually saying that. Don't give them life in prison. You'll ruin their lives. They're just getting started. Not even taking into consideration of the life that they took. I'm telling y'all, this is how they think. And as soon as I saw this story, I said, I'm willing to bet that a lot of those black kids, they were like, yes, we did this, we got them. I'm telling y'all, because in the black community, they have this mentality and they don't want people to know about it. But I'm telling you, that's exactly how it is. And I was asking my producer, I said, I'm just kind of curious. How many of these black males that was out of the 15, how many of them actually have fathers? It's just a legit question. Because they're not even reporting that information. And again, if they were white, they would be connected to Trump, or their parents. Oh my goodness, they're Trump supporters. Their parents are, because their parents taught them to be this way. But you notice they say nothing about this. They say nothing. Let me share this with you, because this is something that's absolutely positive. You have the government state media trying to get Mike Johnson in the gotcha game, talking about his religion. Go ahead and split screen it for me. Talking about his religion. Mike Johnson has been open about that he is a Christian. And he says that if you wonder how I proceed with my day, look no further than the Bible. He said that, being a Christian. And this is the type of leaders that we need, because he believes that people should have freedoms. See, those on the left, they don't believe that you should have any freedoms. Listen to this, because this dude here on CNBC is talking to Mike Johnson like, should you incorporate your beliefs in what you're doing? Shouldn't we have separation of church and state? Shouldn't we have that? But nowhere does it say it in the Constitution about separation of church and state. Listen how he explains it.
I think it was the first day that you had been sworn in. It appeared that you were praying on the floor of Congress with a number of other congressmen. And there is a question about the separation of church and state. We often talk on this show about folks, about whether religion should play a role inside a company, whether people should be allowed to pray inside a company. It's one thing to pray outside and to have your faith, and there's a great importance in that. But how do you think about that, and how do you think about the public perception of that?
Listen, faith, our deep religious heritage and tradition, is a big part of what it means to be an American. When the founders set this system up, they wanted a vibrant expression of faith in the public square, because they believed that a general moral consensus and virtue was necessary to maintain this grand experiment in self-governance that we created, a government of, by, and for the people. We don't have a king in charge. We don't have a middleman. So we've got to keep morality amongst us so that we have accountability. And so they wanted faith to be a big part of that. The separation of church and state is a misnomer. People misunderstand it. Of course, it comes from a phrase that was in a letter that Jefferson wrote. It's not in the Constitution. And what he was explaining is they did not want the government to encroach upon the church, not that they didn't want principles of faith to have influence on our public life. It was exactly the opposite. Washington said, of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. And John Adams came next and he said, our Constitution is made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. They knew that it would be important to maintain our system. And that's why I think we need more of that. Not an establishment of any national religion, but we need everybody's vibrant expression of faith, because it's such an important part of who we are as a nation.
That's it right there. And the guy that he's on there with, listening to him, he's probably can't stand it at all. He probably can't stand the fact that he's explaining that the separation of church and state is not even in the Constitution. A lot of leftist dynamic, right? Democrats, they believe that it is in the Constitution. They keep pushing it. They're demonic. These demonic Democrats, they constantly tell everyone separation between church and state. And the reason why they do that, because they all reject God. Every last one of them. When they say that, that's what they're doing. They're saying they're rejecting God. Even the ones that call themselves Christians.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.